Good afternoon. My name is Annie Novotny, Client Services Coordinator for the Women's Resource Center. Thank you so much for joining us today. It is my pleasure to introduce you to today's presenter and nominated Wonder Woman, Victoria Stultz, who will be speaking to us about community involvement. What do you get out of giving? From a young age, Victoria's parents instilled in her the importance of giving back to the community. She has been involved in several different organizations, such as the Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, Venice Chamber of Commerce, and much more. All lines are muted, but feel free to ask questions in the Q&A box, and Victoria will try to answer them at the end. Over to you, Victoria.
Well, thank you, Annie. I appreciate it. And I'd like to thank all of you for joining me today. I'm happy to have you, and I hope that you'll get something out of this presentation. But I'm all excited to have you here. And like Annie said, feel free to type in some questions, and I'll answer whatever questions you have at the end of the presentation. But first, I'd like to get started. So this is about what do you get out of giving? And if you can see my PowerPoint presentation, I pulled some quotes that I thought were meaningful. You know, one is a favorite by Maya Angelou that says, "When we give cheerfully and accept gratefully, everyone is blessed." What Churchill said, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." Simon Sinek says, "Don't give to get, give to inspire others." And I thought this one was interesting by Kathy Calvin, the CEO of the United Nations Foundation. "Giving is not just about making a donation, it's about making a difference." So let's see here. So what do you get out of giving? And as Annie said earlier, my parents really instilled that in me from a young age about giving back to the community however I could. You know, not necessarily with money, but, you know, use your time, your talent, and your treasure to help those in need, and also find out what you're passionate about. You know, and I've tried to apply this to my life, both personally and professionally. And as Annie mentioned, I do serve on a number of boards, or have served on a number of different organizations. And you really just need to find out, you know, what you're passionate about. You know, I like the symphony, so I serve on the Venice Symphony Board. The Boys and Girls Club is another one that's near and dear to my heart. All Faith Food Bank. There's so many different areas where you can serve and volunteer in our community, and I'll go into more detail about that. But first, so what do you get out of giving? Number one, you get a sense of joy and purpose. And that's when you really need to find a cause that brings you joy. I volunteer for things that I'm passionate about. It's very rewarding knowing that you're making a difference in the lives of others. And once you found a cause, I recommend inviting your friends to join you. And because they're probably looking for it to get involved with something as well. So it's always good to invite your friends to help out and get involved. The second is a greater connection to your community. When you take care of your own backyard, you'll have a much greater sense of connection with your community and neighborhood. Seek out places like the Women's Resource Center or the Food Bank or any other nonprofit that you're passionate about. Whether you have a little or a lot to give, helping your community help themselves is one of the most rewarding things you'll ever do. And then three, new ideas on how to solve problems you care about. Your ability to really to think outside the box and come up with new ideas can make a huge impact on an organization. If you stayed focused on your mission of giving back, you'll not only make a difference, but you'll also you'll get a huge, your own return will be huge. So where do you start? A lot of people, when I first moved down here, I didn't know anyone. So I just researched, and we're fortunate down here that we have a number of foundations in the area, such as the Community Foundation of Sarasota, Gulf Coast Community Foundation, and Manatee Community Foundations, to name a few, that can help you identify the various organizations and match you up with them. Second, identify what you're passionate about. Identify, how do you want to spend your time, your talent, and your treasure to give back to whatever organization you decide to get involved with. And then 3, make a donation and volunteer. Just jump right in. You definitely won't regret it. So what I'd like to do now is really open it up to questions and answers, because I think this will really get the dialogue going.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Victoria. So I see that we have 2 questions here. The first question is, how can a new resident of Sarasota, Florida get involved in volunteering with the community?
That's a great question. So I moved here from Cincinnati back in 2006 and didn't know anyone. So what I did is I looked up different organizations and I got involved. I got involved with the Rotary Club here. And I also got involved with the Junior League of Sarasota. And through those organizations, that helped me get connected with other organizations. So I would really, once again, find out what you're interested in. And it's easy to tap in. We have so many resources here, like I mentioned before, with the different foundations that can help you hook you up with the appropriate organization. So, but for me, I got involved with Rotary and the Junior League, and that made such a huge difference in my life and helped open up other organizations, exposed me to other organizations.
Wonderful. Second question I have is, what inspired you to first get involved?
Oh my goodness. Another great question. It's how I was raised. My parents raised me to give back. And I've always seen my parents give back. So they instilled that in me at a young age. And so I just feel like, I've been blessed, and, if I have time available, I want to help out the organizations that I'm passionate with. You don't always just have to give money. Sometimes just volunteering and helping out is very important also.
That's very true. Third question here is, how can I volunteer remotely during this time?
It's interesting in the COVID era that we're going through. You can volunteer by, I know some organizations have opportunities with Zoom, like we're doing now, where you can reach out one-on-one, whether it's a mother in need or help tutoring a student, and doing it virtually, doing it through Zoom. So those are some, using technology has been a way where you can still help.
Very true. And at the Women's Resource Center, we also have volunteer positions that are remote as well. So every nonprofit is making it work now, and it's a really good tip. Now, the fourth question we have is, how would you recommend getting my family and friends involved? Sometimes it's hard for family and friends to really have that connection with volunteering. What would you suggest?
First find out, a commonality, something that you think your family would be interested in. And then pick an event. Some places they'll have different events, whether it's for instance, a 5K run to raise money for an organization, or to donate food to the food bank, or prepare meals. I know with the Thanksgiving holiday, I know there were some organizations that you could volunteer to package meals. That's something that would be great for your friends and family to do, especially now with the holidays coming up.
Very true. Last question here I have is, how do you make sure your charity is viable and has staying power?
That's something, is to speak with either the board or the executive director of the charity, find out what their mission is, what their vision is, and that will really give you an idea of what their goal is. And then also, how long have they been around? Have they been around a short amount of time, or have they been around like the Boys and Girls Club for years? Or All Face Food Bank. I mean, that's another long time organization. So you can ask those questions. And a lot of time researching their website, they'll have that information on there as well.
We have some more questions coming in. Thank you so much for those questions. What is the most positive memory you have with volunteering?
Oh, I would say I helping out at the YMCA and helping out with their students, their younger students, elementary aged, with their reading program, and just the excitement in a child that is learning to read, and being part of that and helping them out and seeing that their confidence build and they're accomplishing, and that's very rewarding. So I mean, I enjoy working with children, so it's exciting when you can see these young children that may struggle with whether it's reading or math, and see them overcome that. They just have the expression on their face is priceless.
For sure. I have a question here. How do you suggest reaching out to a nonprofit if you want to join their board?
If you want to join their board, I would probably start by going to maybe some of their events, and getting to meet some of the board members, and also talking with the executive director or CEO of that organization, and find out, and even taking a step back, but doing your research ahead of time, researching the organization, going online, seeing who's already on the board. How big of a board is it? See if you recognize any of the names on the board, and then attending one of their events, where you can potentially meet other board members and talk to the executive director, or their development person there.
Wonderful. Deborah also made a suggestion. People can review an organization's 990 form from GuideStar, which is a public information to see the organization's stability and viability. So that's along the lines of, are you trusting the organization, which is a really good tip, Deborah. We have another question here. What kind of community change are you hoping to see in 2021?
Oh, community exchange. Well, hopefully we'll get back to some type of normalcy with everything going on. It's been hard. The boards that I currently serve on, everything's been remote, and so it's a little more challenging that way. So hopefully, we'll be able to do more and see more in 2021, and get back to some type of normal.
Yes, fingers crossed for that for sure.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Victoria, for your wonderful presentation. Giving back not only helps others, but it also helps personal growth, gratitude, and overall happiness and quality of life. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing you attend our future webinars and workshops. Have a great day.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.